And the point of this video to say, when everyone's saying, when banana, when is the banana zone? I'm going to show you that I think it's coming, and I think Solana is going to lead it. And as I've urged with you, patience is required. These things don't come instantaneously, but when they come, they can be life-changing. You see, we're at that point in the 4-year cycle, just ahead of the US election, where things get very exciting. And often around the halving period, there is a pause. It's often global liquidity has paused, which has happened recently. But on a forward-looking basis, as I've explained to you in other videos, liquidity is about to surge.
Now guess who keeps his eye on us? The author of best-selling book Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki. And we want to take this opportunity and thank all the people who trusted us, and we read every comment. And the best part, it's free. Subscribing now means you will get all new information for free. Don't just follow the trends, stay ahead of them. Subscribe to Bitcoin Zealot today and enjoy the new edge. In today's video, Real Vision co-founder and CEO Raoul Pal shares his insights on the price action in Solana and why it could be entering the banana zone. Based on charts and data from his research at Global Macro Investor, Raoul provides valuable perspectives on what investors should look for next.
Liquidity is about to surge, while some other very interesting things are going on. You see, Solana had some very big announcements. If you remember, there were two things that struck me about Solana that I really liked, outside of the fact that there's a lot of developers building on it. It's a great network. They've got the right narrative. They're focused on kind of retail mass adoption, and we've obviously seen meme coins. But there were two big things there that really got me interested. One was NFT compression, which means NFTs can be opened up for different use cases, whether it's ticketing, whatever it is, even derivative contracts. Compressed NFTs allowed massive scale NFTs at low cost. Then it was Firedance that got me really across the line, made me all in on Solana, where I'm now 90% of my crypto allocation, which is 100% of my liquid net worth, is in Solana, which may be foolish to some of you, but I think that market concentration is the right way of doing things when you've got everything correlated because of the everything code. So Solana was my chosen bet because it started breaking out versus Bitcoin and versus Ethereum back in about October last year. That made me pull the final trigger to say, yes, this is going to be the chosen one of this cycle of the larger tokens. But then this week, we had more news. One, ZK compression. ZK compression, zero knowledge compression, is what it's doing is allowing the Solana chain to scale massively. Okay, that's really important. And when that goes hand in hand with Firedancer, which was the other big one, Firedancer allows a TPS that's unparalleled, up to 1 million TPS. Once you put 1 million TPS with compressed NFTs and then a whole compressed chain, what you've got is the most scalable, fastest blockchain in the world. And that, to me, is important for mass adoption. The next phase of that was Blink. Blink was a step towards mass adoption, where you can embed a code and it can appear on any Web2 site, where you can create transactions in Solana. There's something massively empowering because it means any website can do that now. So you kind of don't need that embedding a new wallet for every experience or driving them to a different landing page to do something. You can do it straight on social media itself or on a third-party website. So you're creating more and more ways for people to use this ecosystem. Look, I think it's very, very powerful.
Investors' risk appetite tends to increase with a lower cost of capital and higher liquidity, creating a favorable scenario for high-growth assets. Consequently, Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies often benefit from such conditions, as more money in circulation typically boosts demand. However, if United States inflation appears to be under control, why isn't the cryptocurrency market reacting positively? The United States Federal Reserve closely monitors the job market, inflation, and the value of the dollar to adjust its policies accordingly. When inflation trends near the Fed's 2% target, it allows room for reducing interest rates and injecting liquidity by providing banks with the necessary capital, especially when the economy shows signs of weakness. This movement, known as expansionary, reduces incentives for fixed-income investments. The most recent figures from the Federal Reserve's Preferred Inflation Indicator reveal a deceleration in inflation for May. During this period, price increases registered their slowest growth since March 2021, marking the initial occurrence within this economic cycle that inflation surpassed the Fed's 2% target. The core personal consumption expenditures (PCE) index, excluding food and energy costs, rose by 2.6% year-over-year in May, aligning with the predictions of economists. San Francisco Fed President Mary Daly commented to CNBC's Andrew Ross Sorkin in an interview, "It is just additional news that monetary policy is working. Inflation is gradually cooling." Additionally, the U.S. Bureau of Economic Analysis reported that personal income increased by 0.5% monthly, surpassing the anticipated 0.4%. On the other hand, consumer spending rose by 0.2%, slightly below the expected 0.3%. Earlier in the year, market traders had anticipated at least 3 interest rate reductions. However, current projections have adjusted to only 2, anticipated to commence in September. Seema Shah, the chief global strategist at Principal Asset Management, told CNBC that a further deceleration in inflation, ideally coupled with additional evidence of labor market softening, will be necessary to pave the way for a first rate cut in September. The most recent U.S. inflation data, along with a 4% unemployment rate and personal income growth, led the S&P 500 to reach an all-time high on June 28. Yet, the total cryptocurrency market capitalization is down from its 2024 peak on March 14. Even gold, typically considered a hedge asset, is currently trading merely 5% below its all-time high for May 20.
Let's look at the charts, because the charts tell the story to say, listen, this is probably the last chance you're going to get to buy these big layer ones before we hit the banana zone. So this is now the start of the banana, and it should continue all into next year and through at least early next year. Now, obviously, we will see corrections en route. Obviously, I'm not always right, but let me show you what's in my head. So if I share my screen, so the Solana chart is textbook perfect wedge pattern. I put this on social media. I've talked about it. It's absolutely perfect. So that was the final retest. We've had 3 tests of the lower trend line, 3 tests of the upper trend line. That is about, for me, these patterns have the highest probability of success of all patterns. Continuation, wedges, triangles, whatever you want to call them. I don't get bogged down the exact methodology, pennants. I just say everything looks like a wedge is a wedge. For me, that's a wedge. When it breaks the top, it accelerates. But now from the bottom part, this gets really interesting. Now, what is also interesting is at Global Macro Investor, we look at the volatility of assets and see when they get to very low vol assets, often they reverse and go to higher volatility. In crypto, generally, low volatility is downtrending markets and high volatility is uptrending markets. So every time that Solana has got down to this 50 level in 30-day historic volatility, it tends to reverse. This is exactly what happened yesterday. And the last 5 times it's done this, from this level, it did 109% in December in 2 months, 32% in 2 months in June, August 57% in 2 months, September 527% in 3 months, February 78% in 3 months. So it's a very powerful signal that I really, really like. Now, the same signal is actually seen on Bitcoin. The good thing about Bitcoin is we've got a longer price history. So every time we've got somewhere close to the 20% volatility, Bitcoin, more mature, less volatile, has bounced massively. And again, if you look at the numbers, these bounces have led 83%, 85%, 200%, 100%, 85%, 71%. These are bloody good signals. Now, nothing is fallible, or nothing is infallible, but it puts probability on your side. The other thing that I look for is continued strength from a leader versus others. And this is crucial that you understand this is Solana versus Bitcoin. It is stair-stepped higher and higher and higher. You can see when I bought Solana, when it broke out versus Bitcoin and Ethereum, I'll show you in a sec, back in September, October last year, and then it stair-steps higher. So we're about to explode through the next level. So owning Solana should outperform owning Bitcoin. And here's the same chart versus ETH. Very similar kind of pattern. We expect once we get that kind of 0.055 level in Sol ETH, even with the ETH ETF, we should see Solana outperform.
Theoretically, cryptocurrencies should benefit from the prospect of interest rate cuts and other expansionary measures due to their scarcity and non-censorable payment methods. However, the relative success of the Fed's strategy strengthens the US dollar, which can be measured against a basket of foreign exchange rates using the US dollar index, DXY. A higher DXY means that the euro, pound, and Swiss franc are losing value. Currently, the DXY is flirting with 106, its highest level since November 2023, and the U.S. 5-year Treasury yield has decreased to 4.3% from 4.72% on April 25. This indicates that investors are relatively confident in a soft landing, where inflation decreases without an economic recession. In this case, traders likely expect the stock market to continue reaching new highs without significant shock in the real estate market. This hypothesis explains why lower inflation has not positively impacted the cryptocurrency market. However, there is still uncertainty about how the economy and the US dollar will behave if the Fed opts for an expansionary monetary policy. Therefore, a rally for Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies later in 2024 should not be ruled out. And do not forget to subscribe to Bitcoin Seller. The most important news will reach your inbox on a daily basis and for free. I do not know why you have not subscribed yet. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more daily updates. Remember, knowledge is power, and we're here to empower you on your financial journey. Until next time, happy investing.